In this vlog, I'm going to take you with me on my travels as I go to Manta, Ecuador for 3 nights with my 7-month-old baby. Guys, we have arrived in Manta. Let me show you guys our Airbnb. Elian's just chilling on the bed now. We've stripped down his clothes. We gotta strip them down even more. So we're in hot weather now. We have this beautiful art here. Air conditioning, which we'll need in a hotter climate. Little sitting area here. TV. There's a closet here to put our things in. And there's a little kitchen here. There's a microwave. A sink. Fridge. Which probably should put fresh water in for me that I can drink. And this is the bathroom. It's very small, but you know what? It's gotta do the job. Towels. Sink. Recorder mirror. Let me show you guys a little bit of the outside here. She's just hanging up some hammocks right now. A little sitting area. It's beautiful here. Lots of palm trees. And these hammocks are going to be so comfortable and nice to sit in and relaxing after that long journey. Sky is clear. So yeah, we're just going to relax a little bit because we just had a 10-hour journey. Actually, it ended up only being 9 hours, but still, it was really long. Elian slept the whole time, but I was on and off sleeping, not as much as him. It wasn't as comfortable for me. So we're going to just relax in the hammocks a little bit and chill out. After squeezing in a good relaxing hammock nap, it was time to find something to eat. I didn't have to walk far before I came across the traditional Ecuadorian restaurant. The staff were friendly, and there was a lady singing live music. I ordered a menestra de lentejas, which is basically a lentil stew, arroz, rice, fries, and salad. Now, Ecuadorians always give you something to munch on while you're waiting for your food, and at this restaurant we had some plantain chips. Oh yeah, and this watermelon juice was fire! The vibes were right. I was feeling the energy knowing that I was near the beach and enjoying this delicious food. I could feel the humidity on my skin. I could taste the salt in the air, and I just knew that the beach was waiting for me, so I hurried up and ate and headed over. It was about 4 p.m. and the day wasn't the brightest. It was a little bit cloudy, but we were still nonetheless able to enjoy the water and kind of just soak up the vibes of the area and see what the vendors were like. So the original name of the city was Jokai. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but in Quechua that means golden doors. It wasn't named Manta until later on when Spanish colonizers came and took over the city. Manta is the second biggest port city in Ecuador behind Guayaquil, and they're primarily known for export of Panama hats, and they also ship coffee, cacao, bananas, cotton, textiles, and fish. So guys, right now we're just along the water. Elian's taking his feet. Woo! The sun is setting. I believe the sun is setting that way behind us, so it's not on the water, but it's looking so gorgeous. Just enjoying the waves, getting grounded with our feet in the beautiful sand. The sand here is black sand. I mean, there's a little bit of white mixed into it, but actually, you know, where we are right now, there's a bit more white mixed into it, but further down where we started, we'll walk back there, it is a lot more black. It kind of changes a little bit, but it's so beautiful. There's kids playing, kicking balls around. There were some boats coming in for people doing little boat trips, and it's just beautiful. This is Manta. Hola. There's a dog playing right here. Manta maintains a warm climate year-round. However, during the wet season, there tends to be a bit of rain and clouds. So actually going to Manta wasn't in the original plan at all. What I wanted to do was to take a hop-on, hop-off bus that went all the way through Ecuador down to Guayaquil. Our flight into Ecuador was through Quito, and then our flight out of Ecuador was through Guayaquil. So we had to somehow make it to Guayaquil eventually. But because of the current political situation in Ecuador, they weren't running the hop-on, hop-off buses anymore. And so I was just doing a bit of research and trying to figure out what the best course of action would be. I kind of did this last minute as well. Like, we made this decision to go to Manta like the day before we headed there, and finally I was like, you know what, it's a long bus ride, but let's just try doing an overnight bus and head to Manta. I was curious to know what the beaches were like in Ecuador, and it was kind of close to Guayaquil. Is it good, honey? Now, it's that part of the video when I tell you something interesting about the city. Now, Manta's population is currently estimated at just under 300,000. Their main economic activity is tuna fishing, following tourism and their chemical industry. Between 1999 and 2009, the Manta airbase was used by U.S. forces for surveillance of Colombian drug cartels, though the Ecuadorian government did not renew the lease. Manta also has an international film festival featuring groups from different parts of the world. So during our second day in Manta, I decided to ask our Airbnb host if there was any other beaches outside of the city that I could check out. I just kind of wanted to see what the vibes were in different areas on the outskirts of Manta, and she suggested San Mateo beach. This beach, she said, was super friendly for babies, it's good for kids, and so I decided to hop in an Uber and go check it out. Elian was so happy to be in this hammock, and he also loves playing with the sand. I feel like part of it is that he loves grounding into the earth and the feeling of the nice texture of the sand in his hands. We arrived relatively early to the beach, around 11 a.m., and so we were one of the first people to be there. We kind of had the beach to ourselves when we arrived, and then later on more people started trickling in. Guys, welcome to San Mateo. There's a huge long stretch of beach. We nearly had this whole beach to ourselves, and we rented one of these guys behind us. It's a little chill area with a couple hammocks, some chairs, and a little table. He wanted to charge us $7, but I brought him down to $5, so we paid $5 to take that. And we're gonna go check out the water. Let's go check out the water, baby. So the reason that this beach is so baby friendly is because the main ocean front has the waves and everything, but there's this little canal that kind of leads to this little lagoon that is a little bit deeper in the middle, but not too deep, and on the edges the water is super calm, super shallow, and perfect to just sit the baby down and just play. And there were a lot of kids that started trickling in and coming and playing in this lagoon. I can imagine that some days if the tide is a little bit higher up that it gets wavier, but it's honestly just nice and relaxing. That's one thing I always look for in a beach nowadays that I have a baby, is that the water's calm and that there's areas that are not too deep, because that way we can just relax and he can play and I don't have to worry about the waves coming in and splashing us and crashing on us every 5 seconds. After spending a bit of time playing in the water and doing a little bit of floating practice, I let Elian chill a little bit and play with the sand. He loves the sand, and then it was time to put him down for a nap. And let me tell you guys, our naps in hammocks are always the best naps. They're so comfortable for me, comfortable for him, and we can just rock, and it was really, really nice. So after the nap, we decided to head back, and so there was one issue. On the way there, I didn't have any internet, and so I asked the driver to stop in the little town there to get a SIM card, or not to get a SIM card, but to reload the SIM card that I had to get more internet so I'd be able to call an Uber on the way back. But unfortunately, there was a power outage, and so we didn't. There's actually been a lot of issues with power outage the whole time I spent in Ecuador, throughout the country. So because of that, I was just walking towards the town thinking that I was gonna find internet, and then I realized, you know what, there's a bus right there, and I just walked on and asked, hey, are you heading to Manta? And he was like, yeah. And so we took the bus to Manta, and it was great.
I had one last meal in that same restaurant, and I decided that this time, instead of the fries, I wanted to get plantains because I love plantains. And here's Elian playing with the attachment. These are adapters to put the car seat on the stroller, but he kind of does a chest press with it. And so I enjoyed my last meal at this restaurant. It was close to the place and they had good food, so I was like, why not go back? And then we just relaxed until we headed over to our next destination, which was Guayaquil for one night. I did not do a vlog in Guayaquil because I just rested there, but we're heading to Peru next, so subscribe.